This was a pretty emotional game heading into it, because the Montreal Canadiens Twitter account posted a video of Cole Caufield walking to the arena, and on his really nice, slick suit jacket, he had himself a badge of the number 13. Yeah, this was the first time that the Montreal Canadiens and the number 13 wearing Cole Caufield would play off against CBJ ever since the Johnny Gaudreau tragedy. And with Sean Monahan participating in the game, of course you had Jordan Harris suiting up on the other side, this was a pretty emotional one, and I'd say that a lot of the key players, a lot of the guys that we might have envisioned having a bigger emotional impact with this game, they did show up. Guess what? That 13 wearing Cole Caufield scored himself 2 assists. We had Josh Anderson getting on the board too in the third period. And ultimately, the Montreal Canadiens just allowed themselves to breathe. They took control. And even though they played off against a Columbus team that is not great this season, they found themselves a way to win 5-1. That's the decision here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, as the Habs defeat the Blue Jackets and string together what I'm going to say is maybe like a third straight good game in a row. Sure, you can say that the most previous game, the Canadiens lost 3-0, but if you actually tuned in and you watched it, it would have been a lot easier to say, hey, did that team really deserve to lose 3-0? I'm not too sure. They played fairly all right against the Minnesota Wild. The Wild are just really good, so we can talk about that. But Montreal, 2 wins in their last 3 games. This is kind of the momentum that they need to start building to get out of that huge slump that they were on. Sammy Montembeault gets himself a solid save percentage in this one. He had himself a night. And aside from the goals, there were a few other interesting storylines to note. Let's actually just talk about the goals first, and then we can get into some of the extra stuff like Yoel Armia and Juraj Slafkovsky. So the first goal of the game was scored in the first period by Mike Matheson. Finally, the guy gets on the board in a goal capacity. He had been scoring quite a few points this year, but he needed that first tally. And on the power play, he ends up receiving a pass from Cole Caufield, who is in the Ovechkin spot. Matheson at the point, he hammers it through the goal, and it goes in. Big shout out over to Juraj Slafkovsky for getting right into Tarasov's crease and jumping out of the way at the last second to screen the goalie and allow that goal to go right through. I don't know if that goal goes in if Juraj Slafkovsky is not in front. Kirby Dach also had an assist on this first opening goal that happened 5 minutes into the first period. The second period, we had ourselves 2 goals, one scored by Dante Fabbro. It was the only Columbus Blue Jackets goal of the night, as Zach Werenski and Fabbro switch places on the blue line. Werenski throws it over to the left. Fabbro, the right-handed shot, hammers it towards the goal, and it beats Sammy Montembeault. This goal was assisted by Werenski and Kevin Labanc. Yeah, I kind of completely forgot that Kevin Labanc was on the Blue Jackets, but upon seeing this game, I was like, oh yeah, right, he's there. And he got an assist, so good for him, I guess. Either way, that is the only Columbus Blue Jackets goal of the night, and the next goal, to make it 2-1 Montreal, is scored by Nick Suzuki. This was capitalizing off of a Blue Jackets turnover. They're trying to chuck the puck up, they're trying to break into the Canadian zone, but the 2 Blue Jackets guys at the red line end up missing out on the puck. It goes back to Xhekaj. He sends it up. It goes off of Yoel Armia. He throws it over to Suzuki, who's coming in with speed. Suzuki crosses up in the zone, shoots it far side, it looked like, and it beats Daniil Tarasov. 2-1 goal here, and for Nick Suzuki, that's his 7th on the year. He's been putting the puck in pretty well this season, and I will say that this was one of the nicer snipes he had scored all season. In the third period, this is where we started to see some extra depth guys and other players that we wouldn't necessarily expect producing offense. The first goal scored in the third was another one of these plays where the Canadiens took advantage of the Blue Jackets trying to break the puck out and turning it over in the process. It was Ivan Provorov, I'm pretty sure, in his own zone, trying to toss the puck up the right wing, but it gets cleanly picked off by Emil Heineman. He enters the zone once more, takes a shot, it's saved by Tarasov. Then in the corner, Yoel Armia takes it over, and with 2 Blue Jackets defenders down low for some reason, Yoel Armia spots Lucas Condotta right in front. He's got a clear lane to the net, nobody is contesting him. Armia to Condotta, the shot, and it beats Tarasov clean. Okay, maybe it wasn't clean. It was like kind of right under the armpit there. I was kind of surprised that this shot wasn't saved, to be honest. Like, just from the angle, I thought that Tarasov's positioning looked very solid on that play. But I guess he had a hole or two because Lucas Condotta was able to just throw it on goal as hard as he could, and it went in. So nice to see him getting his first goal on the year, second career NHL goal, I'm pretty sure as well, assisted by Yoel Armia. That, of course, is his second assist of the night. A few minutes later, you had Jake Evans with a really nice play. It was Cole Caufield in the Columbus Blue Jackets corner, again, capitalizing on the Blue Jackets being careless with the puck. Caufield is in the corner, he chucks it out, backdoor play, Jake Evans is right there. Beautiful playmaking opportunity there for Caufield. Shades of Johnny Gaudreau with both the pass to Matheson and the pass to Jake Evans. 2 primary assists in a very nice playmaking capacity. Maybe that's some of the inspiration there coming through. And then you had yourselves the final goal of the game, Mike Matheson, with a long drive from the point. It gets tipped out in front by none other than former Blue Jacket Josh Anderson to make it 5-1 Montreal. This was assisted by Matheson and Lane Hutson, so there you go. Hutson gets another point. I will say, though, just kind of a brief observation on Lane Hutson in this game in particular, and maybe you could say this applies to his entire season, but Hutson had 2 shots in this game. I'm starting to think that the guy's shot is just really not anything. Like, he has fantastic everything else. He has fantastic edges. He has fantastic passing. He has okay, no, not edges as in the skibbity brain rot edges, but you get what I mean. His mobility, his playmaking, his IQ, his passing, his elite head fakes, they're so good. I'd say the only aspect that Lane Hutson has going against him, other than his size, which he doesn't really have control over, it's his shot, man. The guy can't shoot. And when he does, it feels like Victor Mete. So I'd say that Lane Hutson might need to go the Quinn Hughes route to improve that shot of his, but anyways, he did have an assist on the Josh Anderson goal. Other interesting notes to go over in this one. Not only did Cole Caufield have himself that really nice playmaking performance tonight, but you also had Yoel Armia with 2 primary assists in this one. He actually got promoted up to the first line in place of Juraj Slafkovsky. Now, I saw some people asking, why did Slafkovsky get moved to the 4th line? I think the common consensus was because Slafkovsky might have lost his temper and yelled out a really big F-bomb right beside the microphone, and not necessarily it's like, oh, he swore, that's why they're putting him down, but I think it was more like he was getting a bit comfortable, he was getting a little bit frustrated, and maybe just getting him thrown down to line up a little bit to shake things up could give him a bit more of a different perspective in terms of being able to attack the offensive zone. But Juraj Slafkovsky, he didn't score himself a point in this one, but he did have a pretty big impact on that first goal, I would say, the power play marker by Mike Matheson. So at the end of the day, Montreal wins 5-1. I'd say this is Johnny Gaudreau night for Cole Caufield. What a celebration and what a way to bounce back for this team. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Canadiens beating Columbus 5-1. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.